Ben Fagan here with another episode of Career Cash, the podcast. And on this episode, I'm joined by admissions communication coordinator, content creator, and business owner, Branden Ellis. On the show, Branden and I talk about what basketball represents to him, how he's building a brand, and why you have to go after what you want. It's an awesome conversation. Let's get to it. This one has been a long time coming. I think you sped up the graduation just so you could become an alumni, so you could come on the show. And I've been waiting for you to graduate so you could get on the show. So without further ado, Branden Ellis, welcome to Career Cash, the podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. Can't say it wasn't my plans to rush the graduation, but I'm happy it worked out.
No, it did. So I want to talk about that. Like you just said, it wasn't in the plans to rush the graduation, but it worked out. So catch us up to what's been going on within the past calendar year, where you're at now, and then we'll touch on a little bit how you got to that point.
Okay, awesome. So this past year has been a really hectic year for me just personally. I actually came into college with some college credit. So after talking with my academic advisor, trying to go over that schedule, I was actually able to graduate a whole semester early, which was nice for me because at the time I was playing basketball here at Lynn on the men's basketball team. And so it freed up some time and I was able to start my master's program while still playing basketball, which was, a really great experience, but definitely happy to be out of that undergrad. And now I actually work full time in the Office of Admission. I'm the admission communications coordinator. And so I don't play basketball for the school anymore. Basketball is still a big part of my life and what I do on the side. But now I have a career over here, which is really nice. And I'm really enjoying a lot of it.
I love that. And I want to touch on, because like you mentioned, basketball is such a big part of your life. And we've had these discussions in the past, and it's something that I really do admire about you is your outlook on that and how you viewed the game during your time playing, as an athlete. I know, like you said, it's still a part of your life, but can you touch on your outlook as in terms of what basketball represented to you as a player? Because I think there's a lot of correlation or application to that same philosophy for careers outside of sports. So what did basketball represent to you when you played?
Well, for me, basketball was always something that I enjoyed doing. I started playing basketball when I was really, really young. I come from an athletic family, so sports and like activities like that have just always been like a big part of what I do. And I just naturally kind of gravitated towards basketball. And I really, really enjoyed it. I love playing the game. But for me, what basketball was just an opportunity for me to get to somewhere else. Like, I think there's a lot of different levels like in life that you have to get through in a lot of different ways to get there. And so what I saw basketball as was a way for me to get to college, to get a full scholarship, to be able to study and get myself from where I'm originally from. Like in Illinois, I was able to come down to Florida, live here for 4 years, play basketball at a very high level at a wonderful school. But at the same time, like, I didn't allow basketball to be like my entire life. I was very big on setting like a boundary to where, yes, I am a college basketball player, but at the same time, like, I do different things, and I've actually been able to turn basketball into like, and been able to monetize it, which has been a really cool experience. And just something that like I'll be forever thankful for. Like, I was able to play basketball in college, get an education, graduate, and go right into a full-time career. But at the same time, like, understanding that basketball, even though I might not be on the basketball team anymore, is still a big part of me and something that like is part of my identity, but like doesn't make up the full part of like who I am. And so it's just really cool to be able to go through the 4 years and, have ups, have some downs, but then also just try to work things out on the back end side. Like, oh, I didn't know I could do this. Let me see what I can do with that, which has been like a really cool experience and something I'm still learning and working on today.
No, I love that. And even in the brief time that I really got to, kind of watch what you're doing, that was, like I said, something that was so cool and so fun for me to watch and hear your insights onto those things. And can you touch a little bit more on what you talk about? Because again, it has that such strong application to when you said setting the boundaries. Because now if we look in professional careers, you still have to do that same kind of deal. Whatever your job is, whether it's you or somebody else, anybody listening out there, is you're still having to set those boundaries between what you're doing for your living, whether it is sports, whether it is, professional career, whatnot. So how did you go about setting those boundaries for basketball? And then how are you also applying that to the things that you're doing now? Same mentality.
So for me, which was a really big thing, like you talked about with the boundary, was that yes, like being a basketball player was fun and it did require a lot of work and sacrifice, but I didn't want that to like over consume me to the point where I felt like I didn't have a life outside of it. So, you probably will see people like posting like, oh, I'm in the gym 24/7. It seems like they go to sleep at, 2 a.m. in the weight room. They wake up at 6 a.m. in the weight room and, they're just working out all day doing that. And, if that's you, props to you, that's maybe like what you do for fun, how you like kind of, you know, how you entertain yourself or how you just might express yourself. But for me, because I also had to work a part-time job. I also had to go to school. I also played basketball and I was able to start my own company and things on the outside. So I would never let myself practice. We'd practice in the middle of the day. We would travel for games. Like a big chunk of my time was already being taken up by basketball. And so my boundary was just like not let, I'm not going to go from like a 2.5 hour practice and like maybe I had a bad practice or something like that. I'm not now just going to go beat up my body for another 2.5 hours in the gym doing this, like understanding that the work that I'm putting in with the coaches that I do on my own time, like was all good for me. It was a plan that worked for me, but it gave me the free time to have like the mental capacity to kind of escape from basketball because like it's real easy to, we played a rival school. Let's say we went down south, we played like Barry and I had 5 points. Like it's really easy for that now to just ruin my whole weekend. Like, oh, I don't want to go out and hang out with my friends. I don't want to work on this new design type for a shirt or anything like that. But setting that boundary, like what happens when you play basketball happens. I can control what I can control. I can't control what I can't control. And then just understanding that like it's going to be a battle of ups and downs and just to not like beat myself up over it like outside of practice. Like in practice I'm talking, I'm engaged, I'm active, I'm ready to go, but like there's a switch for me, like practice is done, like I'm my own person, like I'm not just a basketball player, which was really fun because it allowed me to explore a lot of different opportunities that I think a lot of people could have, like if they really go out and try to like find them and make them. But again, it is so easy to get wrapped up in your sport, your school, whatever that may be. But setting those boundaries to just be like, hey, I'm not at basketball practice. I don't want to think about it. I don't have, just kind of detaching yourself from it because that allows you to come in the next day ready to go. If you drag that with you the whole time, you're mad about last practice. Now that is beating up you in your next game, or you had a bad game. Now you have a bad week of practice. That's less playing time you have now in the next game. Mm-hmm. And so just understanding that, at the end of the day, basketball is a game. Like, my parents used to tell me like, nobody's going to harm you or do anything like that, just because you shoot 2 for 10 from the field. Like just understanding that what's going to happen is going to happen. You do what you do and like, just could kind of be content with the results would be what I say would be kind of the boundaries I set for myself to allow me to do other things.
Now, what is that looking like now that basketball is done? Are you taking that same approach, or is it shifted, or is it adapted in some way to fit the things you're doing now? How does that all work for you?
So definitely, since I've been done with basketball, I've had I want to say a lot more free time because I started right into a career, but definitely keeping that same approach. Like I work in the summer 9 to 4. Now, I'm not saying like I turn off my email and I turn on like and nobody can reach me, but outside of like my work hours, like that is my time. Now, obviously, if there's a dire need for something like in the office, like I'm always there to help out and I'm always helping out like around different departments too. But just understanding that 9 to 4, I come in here, I work hard, I get my work done, whatever meetings I have to go through, whatever packages I have to ship, emails building, whatever that is, I'm all for it. 9 to 4, I'm here working. But when I leave, I can't stay up. I need to sleep. So that gives me a good 7-8 hours where after work that I can get stuff done. And so in that time, really focusing on like my hobbies, what I want to do, my company, my social media, all that kind of stuff, or just, just relaxing and still having time to like have fun because, if you just work yourself, if it's that side hustle you have, then you go right to your job, then you go to work out, like it's going to be real easy to just find yourself waking up, doing all that stuff and going to sleep, which then is probably going to leave you in a bad mood the next day, or, you're going to be tired, feeling drained. So just finding like a good balance between like work life and like kind of like hobby kind of, mixture is what I've kind of adapted from when I was playing basketball.
I love that. And you're a young buck, you're a young guy, not, you know, not too far age difference with us. Where do you learn this stuff? Where did you pick this up? Was there some event throughout your life or some moment or some lesson that you can look back on and say, hey, that was kind of where I learned this idea of shutting it off or having these separations? Was there something like that that you can pinpoint?
So honestly, it's on because of my sister. My sister she won state 3 times at the same state meet, did a triple crown, like which in Illinois had never been done before. Top 3 recruit in the country, was on Team USA. And being the younger brother, I was able to kind of see like the stuff that she would go through. And so like her life was dominated by school and sports. Like I honestly, and this is no hate, Brittany, you're probably gonna watch this because I'll put it on my story. No hate to you, but like in high school, like just like I felt like she was coming right from high school to go to an AAU track practice, to come home, finish homework, go to sleep, wake up, do the same exact thing. And like, yes, it was cool because she had opportunities that, you know, not too many people in the world probably will ever have in their life. And she worked extremely hard for it. But me, I saw that and I was like, that is not what I want. Like, I want to be able to detach myself from what I do. Like, and so honestly, it started in high school, probably like my sophomore year. The first year my sister went out to college. She ran track at the University of Miami. But so when she left Illinois to go down there, and it was just me at the house with my parents, that's kind of when I adopted like that kind of mindset I have now. Like, look, you know, this is my life. Like, yes, I play basketball. Yes, at the time I ran track. Yes, I, you know, do school and do all this other stuff. But there's a time like for each one of that going through. Like, I'm not gonna sacrifice a whole week, you know, working out for this one track meet. Like, I'm a firm believer of whatever happens, happens. I've always kind of been like a laid back, kind of relaxed person. And so like just being confident with the work that I put in to have the results that I want is like, you know, if I set out a goal that I'm going to shoot 200 shots, you know, in preparation for this game, or I'm gonna shoot 200 free throws, like I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like that's part of my plan. But once that's there, then I know it's time to move on to something else.
I love that. And I don't know how it's feeling for you, but it's getting a little chilly over here. So I'm just gonna take a quick second, put a hoodie on. And for those of you who are just listening in, I got this nice Be Different hoodie. You know anything about this?
Yeah, I would. That's great craftsmanship. So so thank you again for putting that on. But Be Different, for you guys that don't know, is my apparel line. So I actually make TikToks and I do social media. And Be Different is kind of like my motto, what kind of I run with, like my brand. One, because BE, Branden Ellis, but then also like just to be different is something I feel like I fit like perfectly into that category. I was a NCAA athlete that was, you know, kind of going through the lines like when the NIL was first mentioned, and I was working with like brands and things beforehand and just kind of like navigating the waters. But then also like everything I do, like my hobbies range from like playing basketball to editing videos to golfing to fishing. Like there's just so many like things I do that are all different and aren't related to one another, which is something I think people like, that goes the same for everybody. Like you could look at somebody and you would never be able to guess what they do for fun or what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And like everybody's different. And so I feel like people should really embrace the fact that you are not like anybody else. You know, you all might play on the same basketball team, go to the same school, have the same major, have the same academic advisor, but there's going to be, if you peel back 5 layers, something different, or if you peel back 10 layers, there's going to be something different. And so it's just really cool to be able to showcase that and just kind of get that message out, because I feel like that's something, you know, people might get bullied for. They feel like, you know, they're different, so there might not be as good as somebody else. But you know, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and just because somebody else is different in one aspect, or let's say, you know, per se better, I don't even like using that, but better than you in something else, like there's going to be something that you're better than them at, or you know, everything's going to balance out.
So when you're creating this brand, what was that whole kind of evolution like of thinking about, okay, hey, from concepts you're tossing around in the head, like you're saying, you're going through that idea, to where you're at now, because I know that the apparel is just dropping and you're always thinking of new ideas, whether it's on the TikTok, the video side, the apparel side, the getting out, you did, organize beach cleanup, so you're doing a lot of different things. So can you kind of walk us through on the branding side, whether it is involved with the TikToks, anything like that, what that process is like from when it comes into your idea to where it's kind of at now?
Definitely. And all that is honestly just from like trying things and like going with it. I first started like with this because I used to high jump back in the day, and so I jump off my right foot, but I'm also right-handed, like when I play basketball. So I would do this dunk, like where I do a windmill, but I jump off my right foot, but I also dunk it with my right hand, which is like an unorthodox, like different kind of style, like dunking. And so a lot of people would comment on my posts and be like, "Oh, you're different. Oh, that's tough. Like that's different. That's different." Like, and different was like a reoccurring theme, like in a lot of the comments I was getting on like some viral videos and things like that. And so that's when I started working with like the concept of, like be different. I kind of put it together. Like I was just honestly chilling one day, just playing basketball, and I was like, be, like different, like be, like you're different, be. And then it started like just kind of coming together. And then I realized, an apparel line would be something like that would be really cool. Something I have never done before. I had no experience in it, and something that like just to learn how to do it. So I started off, the first time I did it, like I was making the shirts like in my dorm room. Like after a basketball game, I would get a couple orders, and then I'm in my room heat pressing at 11 o'clock, hoping the fire alarm doesn't go off. And so it's just like, slowly from there, then I found outside manufacturers and how to, just streamline it and go through. And so it's honestly just been a cool learning experience, and like anything like can just kind of spark it. Like I could see a TikTok from somebody I have no idea who they are, but there's one part of it where I'm like, you know what, if this was a basketball video, I feel like it would go like this. And then that's how like I feel like my content is very unique, because I look at like I'm on TikTok a lot. So but I'm, don't watch like other basketball creators. I whatever on my For You page. It might be a cooking thing, and whatever it may be. And so just look, me thinking of how I can take these other videos that are doing good and formulate them to fit my audience and my niche, and then posting them, which is something that I like, and something that you could see like on my TikTok is that I've been able to start a lot of trends as opposed to just like follow the trends. But yeah, and that's just kind of it. So like I just kind of, get inspiration from something, and then like with my mind, I just kind of just run with it, probably go through 25 bad ideas till I come up with one good one. But then but that's just everything, just going for it really.
I love that. And that's what I think is my great grandmother said. And my mom always will remind us of, is to keep having ideas. Maybe one day you'll have a good one. I was like, that's always a nice little thought right there.
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity here, this popped into my head. How has, because I think it's so interesting to see how totally separate things influence, other projects that you're working on. Has there been anything in the work that you do now at Lynn, the job that you're doing, which by all accounts on surface level has nothing to do with basketball TikToks, influence your creative side? Has there been anything where you thought of something, how it's working in, the office setting, you were like, man, that would be cool, that would make for a cool video this way, that way, or triggered some thought like that?
On the creative side, I'm gonna be honest, it's been kind of hard. For my job, I come up with like text communications. I send out print material, and I send out like materials to our counselors that travel. But I've picked up a lot of like the behind the scenes business like sides of it, like have to do with budgets and how they market. Because marketing, honestly, people that want to do social media, you're basically just marketing yourself. And on being able to see how, like here at Lynn, they target specific groups of, students with this campaign, how many times a week or a month they reach out, and how they do it with different forms of media or different, print communications, has just been really, really good for me. And I've been just soaking up all that information, seeing like the marketing side, the communication side, which is a big half of that. Because with me in basketball, my TikToks, I post a range of funny videos to educational videos to like just dunking videos, or just, kind of like if I'm on vacation, and I see a basketball hoop, I'll just go dunk a little bit. But which is nice to be able to, try to target specific audiences of like my following, and then just, work with that. And something that's also helped me is being more organized. Since getting my 9 to 5, I have been having to use like my Outlook calendar and, Zoom meetings every day at different times. And so implementing that into my social media, where I've actually now have like a running Excel sheet where I keep video ideas. Are they posted? How many views they had? What content categories? So are they dunking videos? Are they girlfriend videos? Are they interaction videos, duets, like whatever it may be? And it's kind of planning that out. So then I always have content to follow up with, because consistency is really the biggest thing in TikTok. If you post 3 videos a day consistently for like a month, you can really see some good progress. And just me personally, I've seen that like in the last 2-3 weeks. So I'm glad that I'm sticking with the consistent posting. And that's something that I've taken from here. But I have made a couple TikToks in my office, just some funny ones. But on the creative side, my job doesn't really inspire me that much, like for what I do. But it's definitely paying me off a lot in the marketing and like the behind the scenes kind of areas.
No, that's awesome. And in a similar light too, is because my background's a lot in filming, video editing, and stuff like that, and I definitely do a lot of that stuff. Hence all the stuff with the podcast, in the job. But I remember thinking, come into this, I was like, man, I don't want to come, do video stuff, come to work all day, do video stuff, to go home and do more video stuff. And so it's like, in a way, I think it is really good that you're not getting that creative stuff at the office. So like you're talking about, it's another way to shut off and kind of analyze things from new and different angles, which is awesome. Touching back on the marketing thing, you're definitely within the basketball community. Like that's the target audience. But how do you remain, targeted and, for groups of people, but also like remain niche, but also kind of gain in and bring in more audiences, more followers? So how have you approached that so far?
So the way that I start, because with me, TikTok was something that I just started honestly out of spite, because I felt like I was late to the Vine party. I was like, when Vine was a big thing, I was like, I feel like that's something I could be good at, like, just short little videos, and I think I'm a funny person, like outside. So I was like, that's something I felt like I can do, and just always seeing like content creators, this is always, I've had YouTube videos since YouTube channels. I had Fishing Northern Illinois. I had a reptile YouTube channel. So I've always tried to get into the content creation. And so when TikTok came around, I just honestly saw a bunch of like dumb videos on my For You page. And I was like, how does this have 1 million likes? Like in what world do 1 million people like this? And then the first TikTok I ever posted, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to post it. And my first TikTok I posted ended up getting like 250,000 views. And I was like, whoa. And I almost got like hooked to like the sensational, like just seeing like the views go up. So that was like 3 years ago. And I've been posting TikTok since then. And to see growth and to like remain in it is like, I was, like you said, I established myself, like I'm in the basketball, like creator world. So like, that's like the overarching one, is like my basketball one. But the good way to, reach different audiences, but stay within like that kind of general one, because unless you're already like really famous, you can't really get by posting like, a cooking video today and then a hunting video the next day and then a basketball video this day, like unless people are already like in tune with your life. So for me to grow, what I noticed is that all my things have general basketball, like it all relates to basketball some way, but I broke that basketball content like overhead into a bunch of different subcategories. So there is dunking, there is workouts, there's warm-ups, there's real life. So like, did LeBron do something funny in, the last game? Like I can make a TikTok like about that. Like, and then you go into, there's like couple ones. My girlfriend, Anjani, she used to play basketball here as well. So I'll do TikToks with her, because that now reaches a whole nother group of people, that are in couples or romanticizing or whatever that may be. And then, it just, and so on, there's jellies, there's layups, there's situational, there's funny there, and so just kind of going through that way is a good way to, post different types of content that like, maybe there's a lot of people that like stats. So if I post a TikTok about, would you rather have A stats, B stats, C stats, that will get, 10 followers, let's say, out of, 50,000 people that watch the video. But then I follow that up later that day with a video that is strictly on working out, and we get some people that are maybe interested in jumping higher or lifting more weights now. So even though I'm only getting 10 here, 10 here, 10 here, being able to branch it out gives me a much better like rounded audience, and also organic audience, which is, I think, part of the reason why I've had some really good experiences with working with brands, because I have built like an organic audience that follows me for me, but at the same time, I post a lot of stuff that benefits them, however it may be, throughout like the week or the month or whatever the posting schedule is.
No, I love that. And I was seeing one of your TikToks the other day. I was watching whenever it got posted. It was either like Saturday mornings at AAUs. And I never played basketball, but what was cool to me was like, growing up playing baseball, it's all like similar stuff, like there's all right, what it's like growing playing youth baseball. It's, what it's like playing, so it's cool to see how like it's even able to transcend. You don't have to be just a basketball player, but if you have some level of relatability to it, that really is so cool. Now, you talked about that buzz that you got from, that first view, all the likes, all the views that you got. How have you been able to kind of stay locked in doing it for the right reasons? And by right reasons, I mean the reasons that are important to you, whatever they may be. How have you stayed true to that path?
It's definitely been hard, because with TikTok, there's definitely ups and there's downs. Like there's times I've gone up 20,000 followers in like 6 days. And then there's been 3 months where I have gone down 100 followers, even though I've posted, once a day. It all comes into the consistency thing, but being able to stick with it is just something me personally, like I've kind of made a goal to. When I first started out with TikTok, I had a goal to get 10,000 followers. And then just from there, it's just kind of grown. And so now I'm at 98.1. And my big goal is 100K. So I'm finally getting close to that, and I'm seeing some progress. But for me, it was just more like to prove to myself. And like, I've always just wanted to be, and this is no offense, like, people that like work, 9 to 4s or 9 to 5s, whatever it may be. But I've always wanted a job where I do it like on my own terms. And to be able to hopefully, one day just I go, play basketball at LA Fitness for 2 hours in the morning. I film it. And from the views, the sponsorships and that, like that pays for my bills for like the month or whatever it may be. That would be great. And I just love making videos. Like it's something, like I said, ever since I was young, I had a fishing YouTube channel. I had a reptile YouTube channel. I had a video game, like with me streaming clips of me playing like Call of Duty and stuff. And so content creation has always been something like I really like. I like putting out videos and getting feedback on it. And the positive feedback is amazing. Like when I see a video that hits 1 million views or something like that, like to like in my head to be like, wow, like I came up with something that 1 million people just watched, and then it's 1 million views. So maybe it has 100,000 likes. Like 100,000 likes is a ridiculously big number. And that's like something like what, like the content I made was able to reach that many people is just really great. And it really makes me feel good. Yes, there's negativity that comes with all that. I get a lot. Well, not, actually, I'm not going to say that. I don't get a lot of like hate comments. Like I don't want to say that, because I have a really good following and audience. They're on every video, but I mean, if you comment on it, that's just one more view. So I don't really like take it too serious. People say I look like Trae Young though, and that kind of gets on my nerves. But other than that, like there's not really kryptonite. Yeah, that's my one kryptonite. Other than that, not too many people like say anything like crazy. But it is just cool to be able to, have that. And then, I get DMs from kids and they'll be like, hey man, can you drop this workout? Like, I'm really trying to get my bounce up. And like, it's just nice to be able to help other people out too, because my audience, I would say, is like on the younger side. Like I do have, people that follow me that are my age and older, but a lot of the people on TikTok are young too. So making sure that like my content, I try not to post anything like, too like cursing or swearing. Like, I might post a song in the background that has it, like, but just making like my content viewable for a lot of people has also been really good. And it's just great, like I said, to help have kids be like, oh my God, like first they comment first, and they'll be like, oh, does the legend respond? Like little stuff like that, which is like, might seem like dumb. It just makes me feel like, I'll just post a TikTok and somebody will be on there. I'll just like the message and be like, yeah, dude, what's up, man? And it's just really fun.
No, it's awesome. I posted TikTok, got the legend to respond to my TikTok, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself, So As we're coming to the end of the show here, it is time, one of my favorite parts of the show, for us to cash out. And this is where you leave the people with your most valuable piece of advice, a little extra money for the road. So what do you have for us today?
My most valuable piece of advice would be to go out and do like whatever you're thinking of doing, and to just only really worry about like what you think about it. I feel like that held me back a lot, like growing up until like I got into like my later high school years. Um, because like I had a YouTube channel called Fishing Northern Illinois, and I was actually getting good traction on it. Like I was going up, like I had like 500 subscribers, like, and I would on YouTube, and like it was fun to make it, but like I would hear jokes like in middle school, like at the lunch table, like, oh, like why are you posting fishing videos? And like I ultimately like ended up deleting the YouTube account like when I was that young. And like now that like I'm approaching like 100,000 followers in like TikTok, and it's just kind of like, you know, if I would have stuck with it like when I was younger, like, you know, it's easy to think like where I could have been now. But like honestly, just expressing myself through making TikToks has been really great. Like after a long day of work, like I can just go put on the camera and just go out record an hour's worth. And you know, there's always going to be people that like doubt you or say, you know, they might hold you back or just try to, you know, bring you down, undermine you. But as long as you're doing something that you like and you're trying it, like even if you're not seeing the results that you want, like you're still doing it, which is a testament to yourself and like a way for you to be like a creative outlet or whatever it may be for you, is just an amazing way to kind of get that self-confidence. Because this is something I even like struggle with now. Like my girlfriend will be like, oh no, like you're doing so good, or like something like that. And it's like hard to see it yourself, but just to continue to push through, and you know, don't really care what other people say, and do it, and just go out. You know, it might be to you something be like but there's going to be a group of people in the world that really like what you're doing. Somebody's going to relate to it, and there's going to be other people with that interest. So just, you know, ultimately just go chase your ambitions, and like don't worry, like don't let other people try to limit you from like what you can potentially do.
I love that. And I can't think of a better way to end it. I can't think of a better guest to have on the show. And I really appreciate you coming on. I'm pumped. I'm excited to see what's coming next for you. So thanks so much, Branden.
Awesome, thank you so much.